You are listening to Power Stance Gamers Podcast, the best place for quality tabletop banter. With your hosts, Jacob, Greg, and Muddi.
G'day everyone, Jacob Connor here for Power Stance Gaming. With me, as always, is Mr. David Muddiman.
Hey guys.
And Mr. Greg Millsop.
Morning, listeners.
Guys, it's been a pretty big week for me. I've played lots of games. I don't know about you guys.
Nah, pretty quiet actually. It's only been a
Muddi.
little week. Oh, work and everything else. It's been very quiet. But I did get some gaming on the PC done. I reinstalled Empire Total War.
Yeah, he's looking at me, listeners.
Because we were talking about Napoleonics. And I was like, why don't I get into the period a bit? And so I've been playing a bit of that. And it's actually the AI on it's pretty crap.
It's terrible, yeah.
Yeah, I've got it on hard after about 3 games and I'm already smashing it.
Yeah.
So, and I'm not a good player, guys, so it must be really bad.
I would love to hit you up for a game, but...
get your PC sorted.
I open Total War and my computer shuts down and smokes.
Because I'm checking the Total War Warhammer 2 and I'm just very excited.
So, the first one didn't grab me enough to want to play the first one.
The first one didn't grab me as much. I got it when it came out, played a few games, but the reason it didn't grab me is none of the races that I'm really invested in are in it. Yeah. The second series, I'm pretty much balls deep, like lizard men, high elves, and they're still saying that there's rumours that the Tomb Kings will be in this one as well. So,
they've got to be somewhere, really, don't they?
Oh, if this is the thing, you won't see me.
So, hang on, I've never played Total War, so I take it the two of you can play
online
fight
against each other.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, me and Slopster used to have a few games.
Didn't he take 5 steam tanks?
Yeah, no, it was 15 of them or something. It was ridiculous. Yeah, there's no...
Did you beat him?
No, I don't think so. Because I took a nice normal list and then there was all these steam tanks driving across at me and I'm like, no way to deal with that. Pretty much. I think I might have just switched it off on him too.
And it's got magic and...
all the spells are in there. And with the second release, there's still talk of, the Vampire Coast and all that sort of stuff. That's looking pretty cool.
That's pretty cool. I mean, I thought the license for the game was based on all the 8th Ed IP, but if they can go deeper back and get some...
Well, from the understanding that I've been listening to, these guys have pretty much got license to do what they want, as long as it's not too crazy outside the IP. Games Workshop's actually encouraged them. I don't want to bore listeners too much, but apparently one of the outfits that you can do for the I can't remember if it was the Stegodon or anyway, one of the outfits is you'll be able to re-raise. It's like a mummification type thing. You'll be able to spawn dead Saurus warriors and things like that.
That's cool.
Yeah. So that's something that we've never seen in Warhammer before.
Thankfully.
So they've actually,
Yeah.
But they've got a lot of the ideas of remember the what was the Fury rule where they used to have to charge off in certain directions.
Yeah.
The Lizard Men will actually have that as part of their game mechanic. When they take so many wounds, they can go a bit feral.
Oh yeah. That makes sense.
But then they rally again later on. But you've got to there'll be a bit of micromanaging as units kind of charge off here and everywhere. But anyway, that's enough about PC gaming.
No, that's fine. That's totally cool. Greg, what have you been up to, mate?
Pretty quiet week. No gaming, my end. But one of the big things is we ordered 40k. So who else? Put your hands up if you ordered 40k.
That's me.
Yeah, the new starter box. Muddi, why isn't your hand up?
No,
because there's no Necrons in it.
Dude, there's no Necrons in there. He tried selling me his Nurgle filth, and I'm like...
Thanks, Lobster.
Yeah,
good job.
Lobster's buying that. No, I was like, you know what? I like my digital stuff anyway. So it's $70 digital.
So is it released on the same day as the starter set?
Same day.
17th?
I'll have it before you.
Unless
you get it early. Unless you get it early.
I don't know. Big shout out to Emerald Hobby and
Games.
Games.
Justin.
Yep.
If you're listening,
I heard they've run out.
I think most people have run out.
Yeah.
If they're not run out of mine.
I heard they've run out of stock.
Games Workshop ran out of stock for Australia, didn't they?
No.
So the pre-orders that...
Oh, I thought Emerald had.
Well, we've pre-ordered it. I mean, I actually phoned Justin and had a conversation with him, and he said, "Yep, we've got them."
I saw some chatter about people saying that literally stores had run out of
Mighty Ip.
stock.
Mighty Ip had run out.
Yeah.
For the pre-orders. So yeah, no, I'm going digital.
But why would you order from Mighty Ape when you could order from Emerald Hobbies
100%.
Yeah,
yep.
true.
Keep it local.
Yep.
Keep it local, folks.
Well, Emerald's pretty local to us, isn't it?
Very local and also very competitive, has to be said.
But yeah, no, I'm going to digital. I'll basically buy the rule book. So that's like $70, and then I think it's $30 for the. I think I need the first of the
indices.
Yeah, the indices. What do they call it?
Indices.
Yeah,
Indexes.
Codexes.
No,
it's
not specifically not
They've
called
dropped them.
codexes.
No, but what are they
Codex?
calling the alien factions? What are
Xenos.
Yeah, because they got two. They got Xenos 1 and Xenos 2 or something.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
one's got Necrons. I think the one I'm getting is full of the Eldar and the Dark Elder and all that sort of stuff. And then I'm assuming Tyranids and all the other bits and pieces will be in the second one.
So it's pretty exciting times
Yeah,
anyway.
pretty
So
good.
that arrives, all being well, before next weekend. It was released the 17th. That's a Thursday. So
Have you guys been jumping online and listening to the
no, nothing.
people talking about it? Because you can literally just sit there.
But
Yeah,
you know what?
It's going to make no sense
Yeah.
at all. So.
That's actually something I think would make a great episode. Looking at how they've released 40k.
Oh, definitely. Yep.
Well, it's 1,000 times better than how they handled,
Oh, yeah.
it's
It's
Warhammer.
yeah.
quantum leap.
Completely different approach.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I think it's working for them.
Oh, it is. They've definitely got the buy-in certainly from our gaming.
And look,
Group.
you say, yeah, okay, there's videos of dudes reading the rulebook on YouTube. If that was 2 years ago, there'd be cease and desist letters.
Yeah, probably, yeah.
They're letting this stuff go.
Yep.
They're letting the rules get out. They're letting people get excited about it.
Yeah. And it's working.
It was creating a snowball effect, isn't it?
Well, we always used
think.
to question that whole decision in the first place because it did kind of just shut things down. And now they're just letting it go,
Yeah, totally.
loose as a goose.
So between that and my MyCast entry,
How's it coming?
it's gained a lot of momentum in the past week and a half. So I pretty much hadn't touched a lot of the past month or so, and then all of a sudden I've just picked it up and I'm really enjoying it now.
Yep.
So 4 models I've had to paint, and I've got one more this theme, I guess, and I've got 3 weeks to do it. So pretty much on track to get it submitted. So really looking forward to submitting it. Really
Sweet.
love the models. Wicked. Quality.
Quality.
Metal.
Yep.
Minis.
Miniatures.
You heard it here first. Jacob, you've been playing games.
I have. I think I reported a couple of weeks ago that my wife's back on night shifts after 11 months of maternity leave. So I've had a pretty busy schedule. It's actually good because I'm getting just kicked in the dick at work at the moment. So it's ridiculously busy. So it's just nice to come home and completely forget about work. Not that I do much work at home anyway, but yes, I've been playing lots of modern stuff. Played some Spectre and a few other things. Oh man, I'm so keen for a game of Malifaux. And I know we're reviewing it, but holy dooly, I'm busting out. So I think I might have to call out JT or Mike or Josh Bruce to come and sate my desire.
Muddi, you going to step up?
Well, man,
Going to get yourself a crew now?
apparently I'm the champion. I'm the champion.
Let's not count never-born chickens before the never-born eggs hatch.
Smashed him.
But no, it's cool. And painting, I finally finished that Latigo crew for Malifaux, which
Man,
is
they
the other thing.
came up sweet too.
Thanks, buddy. That's big rap. I appreciate that.
no.
But normally that would have taken me a weekend, and it's taken me 4 weeks. So
Dude,
Bit sad on
it's just this fine quality plastic miniatures that Malifaux are producing.
I can't wait for the
Weird.
review episode.
Weird miniatures, right? How could you not get excited about these?
I'm glad you are.
Oh, they're really good.
Yeah. So that's me pretty much. If we're talking about gaming, I've actually cracked out Skyrim again.
What?
The Elder Scrolls Skyrim came out in 2011.
That's just too far.
Is that a board game?
No.
No, it's a
board
PC
games.
game.
Oh, okay.
Just reminded me.
Oh.
My copy of the Kickstarter that I backed in May last year of This War of Mine, the board game
Yeah,
set basically in an Eastern European civil war, where you've got to survive and sort of.
You shouldn't be playing. You shouldn't be joking about this stuff. It's going to happen soon.
It's already happening. But yeah, so that finally shipped, and that was based off a PC game. And then they released last year. They said, "Oh, we're doing a board game version," and they did a Kickstarter.
Wow.
So I was right on that and backed it. That was 13 months ago.
So has it,
and I got an
lost
email
its shine now,
yesterday saying that it shipped from Poland.
Oh, okay.
UPS.
So about 2 weeks, you reckon?
Well, they say the 15th, but I think that's pretty, pretty optimistic.
Yeah.
But hey, we'll see how it goes.
Yeah.
All right, I think it's about time for news for us. News to us. It's about time for news to us.
A lot's happening again over the past fortnight.
Is it exciting?
I think so.
Is
It's
it big
always
news?
exciting,
Yeah.
apparently.
It's very newsworthy.
Oh,
Good.
So let's get into it.
Hate
so
to talk shit around here, would we? All right, so I'm gonna jump in before we start with a little bit of news.
okay.
By the time you'll be listening to this, people, 8th Ed 40k will be released. It'll be the 17th of June, and
Necron's already.
I'm keen. I got a little notification in the mail this morning.
Did you?
It's,
Posted?
it's posted.
Oh.
Did you get an email?
Yeah.
Because I got nothing, so I'm a bit worried about that.
That means it hasn't posted.
Yeah, good thing you called him personally to check.
Did you call him personally to check?
Just long time customer.
Far right, Jacob. You didn't mention that in your text messages today.
Yeah, no, so I got a text message saying it's posted, so hopefully it arrives in time, but probably not. Probably on the Monday, the 19th.
I just hope that I'm not one of those ones that he's like understocked and then has just worked it out, and maybe I might get an email next week to say,
I'm sure it'll be fine.
Oh, I hope so.
What's the release date, like, proper?
17th.
17th. Yeah.
Alright.
Because my digital download will come on that date.
Ah.
No dramas. Yeah, so I'll go get the rules, and I think it's what do they call it again? Where they call the alien races?
Index.
Yeah, they're all indexes. But what's the
Xenos.
term? Xenos. Yeah, the Xenos one. Yeah, because there's 2 books for them.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
That'd be cool. I'm actually really excited now. I've purposely avoided anything 8Z related,
How good does it?
rumours, whatever.
Yeah.
But it's nice to.
Yeah.
Like, I've got the choice to ignore it.
Yep.
Not like I'm being kept in the dark.
Apart from being part of our chat group
I
and
took myself
the
off
1
that.
million messages we get every day from it,
Yeah,
you haven't read them?
no.
Alright,
No.
see, I have.
I took myself off. I took it off because I didn't want to. It made, like I think we discussed earlier, it doesn't make sense unless I see it in the full context. Like, these guys have been playing it for a while, so they're looking at small changes to certain rules that they're already aware of. Like, I'm not in that loop, so I need to see it all in one go for it to actually make sense.
I actually hope there's quick start rules. I doubt there will be, but I really hope there is, like a 1-page or like a A4 little booklet to say, right, this is not the main rules, but just like, do this and off you go. That'd be
I wouldn't
wicked.
be surprised if you're getting that starter box.
Yeah,
I'd hope so.
I reckon they will.
Yeah.
Because
You think so?
Those 2 forces have been designed specifically for that.
Yeah, I hope so. Fingers
Yeah.
crossed it's got a quick start rule set within it, so I can just give it to kids and go, school holidays, there you go, guys. That's
Yeah.
your...
It's an end of financial year, like Christmas present.
Yeah!
Get all
That's it.
excited.
So on that, that's an interesting lead in to the fact that along with the starter box, you've also got the new 40k tank, the Repulsor.
Yeah, it looked cool. Yeah.
Looks
A
awesome.
bit Star Warsy.
I must admit,
Repulsor tanks.
I wouldn't probably get it. I think it's too close to the Land Raider. It just looks like a flying Land Raider, I reckon.
That's a really good description of it.
Oh,
yeah.
these
Yeah.
are those, like the hovercraft.
Yeah, hover
Yeah.
I
tank.
did see this. Yeah,
Yeah.
I thought they looked pretty cool.
Yeah, me too.
It's something different too, right?
It's a bit different, yeah. For the Space Marines. I think they're for the new Space Marines as well. And then we have the Redemptor Dreadnought, which I know you're pretty keen on, Jacob. You'd get
it's-
at least one of them, would you?
Again, it's just big and stompy.
It is
and
very
killy.
big.
Like,
It's
Is
huge.
this the one with the dead dude in it or something?
The Dreadnought.
Yeah.
No, he's a interned Space Marine.
But he
So
is
cock
dead,
notice.
right? Except his brain's still functioning.
yeah, basically, he's
Pretty
been
much,
wounded
yeah.
so badly. That's how they keep him alive.
Yes, yeah,
No,
exactly
that's the
right.
one.
It's like a big life support machine.
He's plugged in.
But he's like
USB plug-ins.
Twice the size of the current Dreadnought.
Yeah, good. I have no
huge.
problem with that. That's going to be awesome.
Twice the size.
Yeah, it's massive.
Yeah.
It's big and stompy.
Wow, okay. Jeez. What are the other models going to be like then? How bigger?
I guess everything's getting supersized.
Yeah.
I reckon.
Yeah, I think definitely for those Marines, the Primaris Marines, that's going to be the
So these are the elite Space Marines. Is that the impression I'm getting? Like these guys they've perfected the breeding process somehow even better. Is that
something
pretty
along
much.
those lines,
Yeah.
Yep.
Cool.
Pretty much. So on to Mantic news.
Ooh.
So Muddi, the summer campaign's been kicked off and it's up and running. And I saw today.
Is that the Clash of Kings? Is that what?
Yeah, Clash of Kings. That's right. The summer campaign. And I saw their new heroes and villains that they've got out.
Oh, so they got some of the characters.
They look amazing.
So they release models.
Yep, single model, miniature
got me
models.
here. I've been pretty busy with work, etc. And for you to be saying,
Yeah, they look. I would
good.
dead set buy them. They're like the sculpts, like they're not painted.
Yep.
The resin miniatures look like stellar.
Oh wow! Okay.
They've really
resin.
Yep, resin.
Wow.
They've really upped their game.
They've got a internal resin facility, so they're actually trying to, from my understanding at least, start churning out some of these things essentially themselves, so they can cast their own.
Is that what they did with the Negan diorama? Was that done in house?
Yeah, possibly. I don't know. I'd have to check that. Yeah.
They've copped a lot of stick in the past over their sculpts.
Look, I'm one of the first ones to say, especially the elves.
Yeah.
But that was. I don't think they're necessarily bad models per se. They don't fit the design that I prefer. Like, I don't find them aesthetically pleasing.
Yeah.
Okay. And look, let's be honest, they're really cheap when you compare it to G-Dub models.
Oh yeah.
You do the comparison. So G-Dub models, you can't touch them. They're fantastic, but they're expensive. Their models are more designed for 40 guys.
True.
For the price.
Yep.
But with some of the later releases they're doing, they are really stepping up the quality of them. And yeah, they get a few hit and misses here and then, but we just discussed the Walking Dead just then a second ago. I think that's a perfect example of where they're definitely hitting it out of the park.
Although, with Walking Dead, I think they're not excellent sculpts, but they really capture the characters.
Yep. And it's all single piece.
Single piece, yeah.
Yeah. They're just a treat to paint. I don't know what it is about them, but the paint on the brush seems to just love those minis.
That hard plastic.
Yeah.
There you go.
Oh, I'm just being shown one now.
So if you can scroll down, you can actually see the different types they've got. So they've got some sort of chick with wings, which looks amazing, like with a whip.
Yep.
They got a necromancer. They look amazing. Like, yeah, might tip my hat to Mantic because I think wait and see what factions they're for, but certainly I'm really interested to see where they go with it and what all the miniatures they bring out.
Check out the Salamander too.
And apologies, listeners, if there was a bit of feedback there because I just switched on my phone and Jake was very strict about keeping our phones on. I
just cop it from Slopster.
Slopster. Yeah.
But I don't. So we'll get Greg to post up those photos on Facebook for everyone to have a good look at.
So that's Mantic. Infinity, we've got Strike Zone Wotan. That's currently kicking off.
Tell us about Strike Zone Wotan, because I'm an Infinity player and I've not kept up with any of this.
Well, I must admit I can't really fill in too much because I haven't been playing it, to be honest. But essentially, it's Wotan is a blockade. I think around Paradiso. I'm guessing here, but I'm pretty sure it would be. And the combined army, which is the evil force within Infinity, the Infinity Universe, is trying to penetrate this blockade to strengthen their stronghold on Paradiso.
Cool. Interesting. Muddy's given a bit of a quizzical look about the evil force.
I've got no idea what you just said.
So in Infinity, you know how there's all the factions, right? All the human factions.
Yeah.
They're kind of friends.
Yeah, they are. Yeah.
And that's why Infinity's a skirmish game, because they're not actually at war. They just have little arguments every now and then. Yeah, basically.
Yeah, I get that.
But there's these big bad aliens that are coming to invade the human sphere, kind of thing.
And Paradiso is one of the planets within the human sphere, within their universe, within the human universe, which...
Are these the models that Chad
plays
with?
Yeah, the aliens.
Right,
yeah.
Okay. Yep.
Yep.
And so they're trying to mess up...
They're essentially... Basically, they've given the human race an ultimatum. You either come with us and are assimilated to a certain extent, or we conquer you, or alternatively you die. And it's kind of like...
Ooh, can I ask a question then?
Yeah, go on.
Is this like a G-Dub campaign map that's going to evolve the story or change?
I'm not sure if it'll change the story, but they'll probably... Well, the Ram one last year, Flamestrike didn't like fast forward the story in any way.
Yep.
I'm not too sure about Wotan. I think it's more a case of a bit like Mantic, they'll test the waters with probably new missions and that. And
Just so you know, Mantic are going to actually change the map depending on the results.
Yeah, right. Well, this won't
So-
necessarily happen within the Infinity Universe.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they won't go that. I guess we'll.
How long's that? When's that going to wrap up?
I think it's 6 or 8 weeks.
Yep.
It's quite
Okay.
short.
Does it wrap up around Interplanetario?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's the big main tournament
Yep.
that's held in Spain.
Okay.
The Corvus run.
Yep.
What else we got? We got some miscellaneous news. So, interestingly, Zombicide: The Green Horde, that's up on Kickstarter. Did you know that that raised $1 million on day one?
Yeah,
That's insane.
that is insane, but they do that all the time.
That's just crazy.
That's
though.
Yeah.
consistent with the zombie side stuff.
Yeah.
There. So yeah, I think is this the new expansion to the
Black Plague one, isn't it?
Black Plague? Yeah, they got the green tide or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
zombies.
Yeah.
Yep.
That sounds pretty cool though.
It's a cool concept.
God, I just wish, but it's Walking Dead. Ugh. I
Yeah.
wish I could get behind it, but I'm fully my zombie game is Walking Dead.
And in other news, the tribute, which we mentioned a few episodes ago, that came second in the Crystal Brush over in the States. The tribute won the Slayer Sword at Games Day over in the UK. That's the
Oh,
one
yeah.
with the vampire lord offering his sword to
Nagash.
Nagash, yeah, on the throne,
Oh yeah.
which is amazingly painted. It's
Oh,
just
it's
The
Stella.
whole
Yeah.
execution of the diorama
Oh,
is amazing.
He gets the Stellar Award.
yeah, he does.
Yeah, I made up a new award.
Yeah.
Called the Stellar.
And finally, it's not quite tabletop news, but the Star Wars Battlefront 2 trailer was released, and I have to mention it because my kids have watched it about 50 million times.
I've watched it 25 million times.
Yeah, I've got to say they look pretty good because they're taking everything
Yep,
and just
just dumping it in a
Yep.
game, and just
and
like, here
it
you go.
looks good because of that.
Yeah.
Looks
Because
so
everyone
good.
has their little favourites and whatnot. So now you're going to be able to get in and get amongst it.
100%.
Yeah.
Yep,
Mm.
it looks amazing.
And it's got a single player campaign. Finally.
Yep.
I mean, I still get on multiplayer, but for me, it just leaves me cold if it's just multiplayer.
Yeah.
I like
You
a
want
little single
something
player.
A bit more with a bit of teeth that you can actually go and do.
Yeah. You know me, I like my narratives, I like my story,
Yep.
so.
You don't want to just go online and get your teeth kicked in by
Yeah, 'cause that's
8-year-olds.
the thing, like, because there's always someone better than you, and you're cruising around, you're happy as Larry, you killed a couple of guys, and then you get shot in the back, and you go like, what tosser did that?
Yeah, exactly. And I'll just put in a little bit of news. Everyone, I'm not going to give you all the details, but make sure you keep on Total War 2. It's awesome. Just, you know where to find it.
And that's it. That's us wrapped. Unless, Jacob, you got anything more?
Oh, we do have one little bit of news. That's if you follow us on social media, you've already found out. Congratulations to Byron Laurie, who picked up the Archaon.
Well done, Byron.
Yeah.
So we appreciate your review. It was really a tough contest in the end with so many to choose from. So go on and chuck on a review, and we appreciate everyone that subscribes to us, follows us, you're helping us out in a very big way. So thanks very much.
And now the Hulk can go away.
Hulk can get back in his box.
See you, brothers.
I can thank Christ. See you, Hulk.
And that's us from with news.
Cool. Let's just get straight into the whip around then. We might get an actual whip sound.
Yeah!
Okay, so this week's whip around question. I'm trying to build some suspense here for Greg because he's dying.
Look at him, he's shitting
I
himself.
am not shitting my pants. I'm not.
He's trying to play it cool.
Yeah,
He's
yeah.
like,
Come
it's like,
on, whatever.
It's like he's on his first date and he's like, oh, if I could say, what am I going to do?
It so is not.
Oh,
He's
but
got his
I've
hand on
no.
his hip. What's
But
that?
he's- No,
all
but that's
about?
him. He's like trying to look like he's not stressed out.
Don't know what you're talking about. Anyway,
more-
whatever.
The more someone like leans back and tries to look casual, you know they're really
Yeah.
stressed out.
He's going to fall off the chair in a second.
Yeah.
He hasn't even had that much homebrew.
Nope.
Which is
All right.
delicious, by the way.
Need to fix that.
Thank you. Appreciate it. This week's question is, what is your number one tournament essential? So what's the one thing you have to take to every tournament? And let's not go dice or a tape measure because that's a bit silly.
That you have to take. I was going to say the miniatures.
Well, yeah, obviously. I think this question comes more in the realms of: is there something that you bring to your tournaments that
Like a lucky rabbit's foot.
Do you have a lucky rabbit's foot? Does that explain it?
Might get one.
All right, I'll start.
Okay.
I'll start. If I do not take a triple shot coffee into a tournament with me, I'm done. Okay? I cannot play in a tournament. Triple shot.
Far out.
I'll take a triple shot cap.
Ooh.
I do one every day for breakfast.
Right, so it's like your normal triple shot though.
Yeah.
That's hardcore.
And that gets me through round one until it's socially acceptable to start drinking beers. So if I get to 10 a.m. and I'm caffeined until it's beer time, then yeah, I'm good. So
things that you take then. That you're gonna take.
Well, I'll jump in. I'll chime in. I think I've got mine.
Excellent. Yeah, what do you got?
Super glue. All the time.
Oh,
if I'm in the car and I've got super glue, I'm like, I just freak out. You know, what if something breaks?
That's in my tournament bag. It's already kind of loaded.
Is it? No.
Yeah.
So
You ever done
super glue in the fridge?
a Bunnings run? I go to a tournament and go, oh crap, haven't got any super glue, so shoot down
I haven't
Bunnings.
yet, because normally, touch wood, all the people have got, excuse me, super glue, but
Yep.
I've been that person that's had that super glue for the other people that haven't had super glue. So,
Yes, yeah.
Oops, there's always somebody that's got super glue.
Have you also been the person that's had, say, a gyrocopter smash on you?
Maybe this is where this all started.
Yeah.
Perhaps. I've often thought what, ripples in other people's lives.
This
That,
was a fork in his road.
yeah. So super glue.
Yeah, definitely, 100%.
Not even tea bags.
Ooh, that's probably the second one, I reckon. Yeah.
Because I thought you were going to say a packed lunch.
I was
'cause
nearly
this-
going to say
that's
that.
mine.
I was nearly going to say that.
That's actually mine.
That's your tournament
food,
essential?
Yeah,
Yeah.
mine's still my little shakes and stuff. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. But you don't eat real food.
Yeah, I do.
You
Not
don't.
really.
But they're my little mid snacks.
Hang on, but you take real food in a what do you call them? Food processor. That's it. And you just stick it into a cup.
Oh, that.
Yeah, your veggies and that.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I don't actually eat vegetables.
No.
You drink them.
I drink them.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
so disgusting.
I don't like vegetables.
It's just so
I
disgusting.
have essentially wheatgrass.
Even sweet corn, does that still mix up?
No, I don't put corn. Actually, I don't think does anything for you.
I think it does.
don't
I had this
think it
argument
really
with
does.
Cherokee the other
Your
night.
body can't even digest it properly.
No, there's something in it.
That's why it's always in your poo. It comes straight
No,
through.
it's got gear in it. It does have.
Oh, I don't know if it
It's got
does.
good gear in it.
It's like
I
lettuce.
bet you it does. I bet
It's
you if
like
you Google
lettuce. Lettuce has got
Lettuce has
nothing in
fibre,
it.
though.
it, lettuce does have stuff in it.
It's got frack all fibre.
It might have not fibre, but it's got something in it.
Cardboard
It's got to
box.
be good for you in some
A
way.
cardboard box has got more fibre
No,
than
alright,
lettuce.
maybe fibre is maybe out, but it's got to have some sort of vitamins or.
I don't think it
It's
does.
green. Green stuff's good for you.
It's a feel-good exercise.
Rabbits eat it, and they're still alive. They live. They can sustain on
everything
that.
eats them. That's not a way to live.
All right, this has been another fascinating edition of Muddy's Nutritional Advice and Greg's herbivore adventures, I guess. I don't know. That was not how I was expecting that conversation to go.
What else can you take? I don't know what else you would take to a tournament.
Well, I was pretty close with
I haven't got a
the
lucky
lunch.
hat. I've got lucky
Yeah.
undies.
Well, that's not a lucky hat because it's Superman.
Superman, bro. He beats everyone.
Lucky ruler?
Except Batman. A lucky ruler?
Mm.
Oh, I've only got one.
No, I've got two tape measures. And there's one that's
Have you?
beat up that I keep taking because it's like my favourite tape
Oh,
measure.
so
Is it a
this
lucky tape
like
measure?
his lucky
I wouldn't go
dice.
so far as lucky. I just like it.
He's got his lucky dice.
Right.
Well, yeah, we said dice weren't
so he's-
included.
yeah.
I did have a tape measure that was broken that I kept taking to tournaments because I couldn't be asked buying another one. It
You could go to
didn't
buy-
stick.
Just did not want to go to Bunnings and get the $1.50.
Nah.
I know why you've got this tape measure too. It's probably dodgy. It's probably inches.
Oh, are
away.
you-
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. 2 inches is like this.
That's it.
Are you trying to suggest that in some way I cheat or don't play by the rules?
No, you probably just checked the measurements and you found one that's just a little bit further. You're like, oh yeah.
Maybe the metal tip's bent at the end, and that way it gets you an extra
That's it.
quarter of an inch.
Yeah, you talk.
That's actually not a bad idea. Bend it.
Don't put ideas in his head.
I
That's-
know. He'll go rubbing out the lines. Permanent marker.
Did you say 1, 2, 7? Yeah. All right, listeners. Well, we'd be keen to see if there's anything that you need to take along to every tournament. Do you have a dodgy ruler, dodgy tape measure like Greg?
Hang on, mine's not dodgy. You just implied it's dodgy. It's nothing wrong with my tape measure. It's just my favourite tape measure. That's all I said. You have then turned around and said that it's dodgy.
It's just super bendy.
It's not.
It's flexible.
It's flexible.
So, do you have a flexible tape measure like Greg's? Do you pack your vegetable enemas like Muddi?
Gotta be healthy.
Or your 3 shots of coffee like Jacob.
That's it. That's why I'm so fucking keen every fucking tournament.
With your hard-ass lists.
That's it.
While he's falling asleep under the table.
Yeah.
Oh, that's day 2.
Yeah,
Day 2's different.
that's different.
Day
So
2, I
for
need
day-
Barocca.
Day
Put that
two,
in my
yeah,
tournament
day
bag.
2, I rocked up. What do you take yourself?
Yeah. Oh, jeez. Oh, day 2, 2-day tournaments. Like,
We're getting too old for him.
I think we are.
Oh,
It's depressing.
100%, yeah.
Although, I keep thinking every year when Gen Con's are on one of those big conventions, I think, oh man,
You get
it'd be awesome to do that. But then I think, man, day 2, I'd be like, nah, I'm
just
just
wanna
we'd
play
staying in the
with-
hotel.
You want one
Yeah.
day, massive drink session,
Mm.
kebab shop, and then sleep in.
Mm.
That's the perfect tournament.
It is, yeah, absolutely. If you're running any one-day tournaments near good bars, let us know. We might make a PSG road trip.
And a kebab shop,
Yeah.
because I've got to get my lettuce.
Oh, your lettuce. And your corn.
Put corn on a bloody kebab,
Not on a ham and pineapple one, anyway.
No way. At least I don't get my arm stuck in the bloody door.
It was my finger.
All right, I think that's where we'll leave that before we go down that wormhole once again. But I think that's a really good point to jump off into our main topic tonight.
You are listening to Power Stance Gamers. And now, this.
Alright, so tonight's topic is basically we want to talk about tournaments. Because we're all tournament players from
Used to be.
well back. You
I don't
played
really-
a tournament
I don't
recently?
play very often, no. No, I played one when you played one, Greg, so that's the last tournament.
What was that? That would have been March, though.
About March.
Kings, yeah.
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 I just don't get enough time to
Your
go through
weekends.
those. I work a lot of weekends.
Yeah.
I think your young fella played AFL on Saturdays, didn't he, for a
He's
bit?
playing footy on Saturdays, so I'm either working or I'm going to go see the little fella play footy.
But that said, we've spent plenty of times playing tournaments over the
Yeah.
years, haven't we?
Yeah.
So, while we have spent plenty of time playing tournaments in the past, what we want to look at today is, based on our own experience and the time we've spent playing tournaments, what are 3 things that every tournament needs?
3 things.
Okay? So we're just going to
Right.
come up with one thing that, in our very humble opinion, that we think if you want to run a great event, you're going to need it to have that great event. So I'm going to throw it up to the boys. Muddi.
All right. Well, the first thing that I like to see at an event is the soft scores.
Soft scores.
Yeah.
Yep.
I think it lightens the mood for the tournament. And
So for our listeners that might be not familiar with the term soft scores, what are we talking about there?
it's the painting and the sports are the big ones for me. Painting and the sports. I think it softens the edge of competitiveness by bringing in points, rewarding people for basically being a complete hobbyist,
An all-round game.
an all-rounder.
Yeah.
And it just to me just takes that edge off some of the filthy lists and whatnot by doing that. I've never been a fan of necessarily comp, which used to be I guess considered partly a soft score, but
Yeah, back in the fantasy days, definitely.
It just- that
your
used to-
composition score for the strength of your list or the
Yeah.
perceived strength of your list
yeah,
definitely come into it.
It used to come into it, and the only problem with that was that it was always something that people argued over, and oh, this is filthy, this isn't filthy.
Oh, but then Swedish, going back to fantasy
The
days,
Swedish was
did help sort a lot of that out.
because it was up front with what your score was. Like you went to the event and you knew what your score was prior to going, and that I can get behind. This back when the 7th ed days, it was much more sort of judge peered. Like I think in even American tournaments, they basically judge your sports score realistically on what they think of your list.
Yeah, yep.
So I'm not fans of that sort of thing. Like, I'll go back just to sum it up with the comp scores. I think if you know what your comp score is when you're going to the event, that's fine. When you're not, when you don't know what it is, I'm not as a big a fan of it.
I'm not a huge fan of peer judging.
It's
comp
very
scores.
subjective.
Yeah.
And if you... Like, when do you judge it? Do you judge it before the game?
No, you judge it after I get
or
smashed.
after the game? Yeah,
And
exactly.
that's a hard list.
So, it's obviously a hard list because you just battered me.
Yep.
So I'm going to judge you down. Or a newer guy might be more possibly, or younger, or who knows, might be pressured into possibly marking a list a certain way because of an opponent's...
I've had that. I've had opponents tell me, oh, look, when you mark my comp score, keep in mind that this is this and this is that, so it's probably going to be a 4 out of 5 kind of thing.
Exactly. And and they try to bring it across as though they're almost trying to help you out
Yeah,
to
that's it.
understand the system, but they're actually gaming the system, essentially.
Yeah.
Yeah. It might be worth just pointing out what the Swedish system is, though, for the people that didn't play Fantasy back in the day.
The Swedish system basically had everything essentially point costed.
So it was a second points cost.
And why is it called the Swedish system?
Oh, the Swedes brought it out, and it was taken up by many tournaments around the world as another form of comping system for Warhammer Fantasy, which had a bit of balancing issues.
Well, keeping in mind that Warhammer Fantasy was never designed as a competitive rule set.
Yeah, and they said that 1,000 times, but we wouldn't listen, so we would
we
force
shoehorned it in there, yeah.
But the good thing about the Swedish was it did change with the new book releases, and you could literally figure it out while you were writing your list, so you could change it to better fit the tournament. And even with the Warhammer tournaments, it actually had as part of its parameters, this is a Swedish 9 event or something, and that basically meant nothing under the score of 9 was allowed in the event. So once again, you're softening the lists before they even get there. So I was always behind the Swedish one. I didn't mind it.
I didn't mind it either, just because it was a standardised system that everyone could get behind.
Yep.
And it did balance nicely. I thought it did a pretty good job.
Did a very good job.
But then we got to the stage where...
Yeah, people mapped it out.
Yeah, you still worked out the best.
It took about 2 or 3 years for that to happen.
Yeah, but they just started doing little things like the amount of models in a unit. You get really weird, 37 or 32 models, and, things like that. They'd math hammer it out, but it did its job for the time.
It did its job, but let's go back to the other two soft scores, the ones
Yep.
that you think are really important.
Yep.
So we'll start with painting, because I know you practically refuse to play anything unpainted.
Yeah, because...
Outside of tournaments. Obviously, you can't control what your opponent brings to a tournament.
There's no immersion in just pushing around just metal, plastic, whatever you want to call it, that's not painted. It's nothing immersive about it. It just becomes a game of chess. If I wanted to play chess, I got a cool chess set at home. I'll just go push that around. This game is supposed to come alive. The board, the terrain, it's supposed to become like a cinematic feel. Pieces of plastic that aren't painted, that's not part of the movie scene, is it?
Yeah, completely agree.
Yeah, straight away I just look at it and go,
I'd never take anything unpainted to a tournament.
Yeah, and I
here.
think that's why painting scores in tournaments are so important, because once again you are forcing people, if they want to do well at the event, got to have your stuff
Encouraging.
painted.
Let's go with encouraging.
Yeah, it's
rather than-
encouraging.
Totally.
Yeah,
Yep.
because you might be the best general there, but if your stuff's not painted, you're not going to win crap. So
Well, going back to the fantasy old scores, it was 60, 20, 20, wasn't it? So 60 was battle points, 20 was sports, and 20 was painting. Is that right?
Yeah, roughly.
sounds about right.
Roughly. Depending,
Yeah.
because I still used to use, when I was running tournaments, I would factor in the comp score into the thing generally.
Yeah.
If we weren't running a Swedish event.
Maybe it was 10, 10, 20.
It might have been something like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, it still made up a chunk of points. At least, it was always 20 though.
Yeah.
Yep. So that 20% of your score would come from your painting.
And when tournaments can be that close, that's a lot of points just to be pissing away because you can't be bothered painting your mini models.
Yeah, for sure. But the big one, sports.
Sports, it's got to be done. It's just got to be done. To all the tournaments out there, especially the Queensland ones, if you're not running sports, I don't understand why. I just think it's another thing to just make sure everyone's playing with a good frame of mind and making sure everyone's having a good time. I just reward the people that are actually making your game to play in a competitive setting fun. Okay, it's not necessarily taking points or not awarding points to someone for not doing certain things, but just rewarding those that make this game so much fun to play.
Yep.
And especially when you're in a tournament environment, because sometimes they can be the games that, with the pressures of the game, etc., they're the ones that aren't going to be as fun. And by creating a best sports event, it's more inclined that people will just take a bit of the edge off.
So, and how do you score best sports? How do you go about the
best way
judging it?
The best way I've come across, I think it's pretty standard, is pretty much everyone starts at the same amount of points. Okay, and if you're going to take points off someone for sports, basically most of those you ended up having to just explain it to the TO. Okay, but the one I found the best is that so everyone pretty much, as long as everyone's playing a nice fair game and being friendly, courteous, all those simple things, right? Everyone gets the same, so it's not like it's disadvantaging anyone unless you're a real douche. But the point is, at the end of the event, you would write down on your score sheet who you thought was your favourite opponent.
Best opponent for the day.
And they get a bonus point or something at the end. So it's not a huge chunk, but more importantly, you tally it all up, and the best sportsman gets a trophy, an award, a certificate, whatever. It just acknowledges that that person has made the most people have such a good time over that weekend in a competitive environment, which isn't always easy to do.
No, it's not.
So they're my big ones.
Yeah. No, that's awesome. Look, I completely agree on sports. I think it's something that, and I know that tournaments can be much more about competition than casual games, and I appreciate that, but I still think that TOs out there, it's good for business. If you want people to come to your events, you want to know that your events are events that people get rewarded for playing in the spirit. I think, at least. And there'll always be people that go, oh no, I'm going to the tournament because I want to win. But there are plenty of casuals out there that you speak to and go, do I want to play tournaments? Because I know everyone's just going to be there, trying to smash out the wins. And
being extremely competitive.
I think for me, the tournament setting isn't about rocking up and winning. It's about playing a diverse player, like a much diverse player group. Because obviously, when you got your own playing group and you play them week in, week out, not that we play week in, week out because of time constraints, but generally we do play each other. It's nice to rock up to the tournament and actually play somebody different on that particular day. That's one of the things I get out of it. I really enjoy that aspect of it. So I'm not necessarily there to compete, but I'm there to play someone different and have fun. That's what it's all about.
Yeah.
But playing someone new is a stressful thing.
Oh, definitely.
Because you don't know
can be.
What wavelength they're going to be on. And you're going to be there for, let's be honest, most games are around 2.5 hours with this person.
Yeah.
You don't know, never been around. And you're having to have interactions. By having that best sports or something of those sort of lines to keep everything in line, you're more inclined, I think, to have a better game. And so if it's my first event and I rock up and I have 3 or 4 great games, because you've got sports included and everyone's sort of trying to get those sports points, then I'm probably going to have a better time over the weekend. So I'm probably going to be more inclined to come back the next time you have an event, because I now know, wow, it was a tournament, but it wasn't super competitive and everyone was having a laugh about things. I'm going to come back and have another go. I'm not scared off by it.
That's what I meant about it being good for business.
Yeah.
For a TO, you want to get the best rep you can for your events. So I think encouraging people to not act like arse-hats and smash out wins, especially for the casual players that will still make up a big chunk of your playing roster generally.
So that's an interesting point, because I think that leads into what you would improve.
You've been reading my notes, mate.
No, I just
tell you what,
I've got an inkling, shall we say?
All right. So my tournament essential, my one thing you need for a good tournament is you need a switched on TO, because that is the man behind the curtain. Okay, if your TO is not bringing his A game, your event's going to struggle. It's that simple. Because it's a huge job. I know, I've done it many, many, many times. and I know the time and investment that comes into it, and I've done it half-heartedly, and I've run shithouse events basically because I didn't put my heart and soul into the tournament. And I know that sounds extreme, but I mean, if you're not, and you need, in our environment now, scene anyway, you need a good 2-3 month run in to get it on people's calendars. You need to have your event done on your social media, so you've got that promotion there. You need to have not so much around prizes, but you need to have it out there in people's minds that there's going to be some prizes. These are the sponsors. You want to be having those conversations. You want to, and for your sponsors, you want to be getting their value for their money as well.
Otherwise, they're not going to show up at the door again either.
That's it. So if you're not branding your tournament and you're not promoting them every time you do something, you're going to find them starting to resent the whole thing. And even on the day, like, you need your software set up before people arrive. You need your scorecards done and printed and on the sheet, on the tables. It's a big job. So,
boards set up before you get there.
Yeah,
it's an interesting point. Would you say that you need a good team? Does the TO need a team, or would you say the TO it all falls on their shoulders?
Teams are great, but at the end of the day, someone's going to take the blame. So, if you're running an event and something stuffs up as a TO, you can't go, "Oh no, that was JT's responsibility." Okay, because people aren't looking for your helper.
You are the figurehead.
Yeah, you're the face of that event. So I think it's huge. It's a big responsibility, and not everyone wants to do it. And I know exactly why. And don't get me wrong, I'm not rushing out there to put my hand up and start running big events again. But it's important. If you want a good event, if you want your tournament to run well, then from day one, the TO has got to be switched on.
I remember the first tournament we ran as a collective. I remember. No, whenever we posted results up, we got a complaint straight away. Like within minutes of the results being posted.
That was one. Is that the one event we went to, the Mango?
No, this is Mango Hill Tavern. Yeah, 100%.
I got pulled aside. I got pulled aside by them, going, "Hey, Dave,
this isn't right.
Have you?" And I'm like, "Man, I don't know. I wasn't keeping track of scores or anything. I was just the terrain guy."
But the point is, somebody was pissed off that they felt
they'd mapped it out.
Yeah, they felt wronged, I guess.
Yeah.
I know, from memory, they weren't in the top contention for points. They were mid-table from memory. But the point was, we as a collective got it wrong on the day, and it pissed the person off. Now, within 24 hours, it was fixed, and it was posted up on the website, and it was all cushy again.
It was all above board. See, that when they asked me about this, because we were at Mango at that point, they're like, "Hey, Dave, are you?" What? And they came across to me. Not that he was not pissed off, but they were the transparency. They were more worried about
that was
the
it. That's a better way. That's a better
and so then when we went back and actually went and sorted, they were like, "Dudes, this is all going to get sorted," and they were quite pleased with that afterwards. They weren't sure if we were trying to dodgy something up to suit someone or something.
But it certainly made it clear
that people are on it.
In fact, in our eyes, that you've got to hit the nail on the head.
And that was the event that I think that really brought it home to me, that if I'm putting my name out there as, "Hey, I'm running an event," I know that it's going to come back to me. As when people stuff up, I can't go, "Oh no, he did the scoring," because it's my event. It's the brand around it that you're building.
Like we're just saying, like, I was getting hit up at the pub about it. My name's not even on it. They were like looking around for all sorts of answers. I don't know if they were trying to find out answers through me or whatnot. But I think we learned a lot in that particular event. There was a couple of little things that were like, we can do this better. But the interesting, we used to talk about this a lot, and I think it's so important, is the branding with the event. Like, if you get a good brand and you promote it and you sell it and you have, and it's a quality brand, people will come back. And I think the track record is when we, like, basically, Jacob, you ran it. We did all the did a bit of behind the curtain stuff. Yeah, people came back because the terrain. We used to make a big deal about trying to get the boards looking, looking the goods. There was some great glassware.
Yeah, we had distinctive glassware as trophies, and people wanted the prizes.
Yeah,
they wanted the glasses.
It wasn't about winning miniatures because
Yeah,
that
big
was
box
more
set.
that was
Yeah.
more for lucky door prizes. So anybody had a shot at that.
Well, in fact, the Lucky Door prize was the best prize.
yeah,
Yeah.
and that's something I think is important too.
That's missing as well.
I don't
think.
understand why you're
Current
rewarding
tournaments.
best player, best general, whatever.
I think first should get something, whether it's a trophy or well, it's
trophy,
whatever.
certificate,
Or
whatever.
yeah, but after that,
But
you
see,
know.
yeah, I always thought the lucky door prizes were to literally get people in the door.
yeah,
Correct.
So that's the point of them.
Yep.
You want to make it worth winning.
that's a great idea.
But taken away from our experiences in the past too, I've seen this in other TOs, and you can see it from usually the first time they post up on social media. If there's that nice, steady, and I don't mean spamming, but I mean that nice, steady release of information, reminders that stuff's happening. You know, here's the train we're working on, here's the new sponsor come on board, and you get that nice, steady flow of information. You can generally see that that's someone that's organised and switched on. It's not like, oh crap, event's on, better spam some messages kind of thing, or you know, that sort of stuff.
It has
And
a nice lead up to the event.
I always get worried when okay, there's an event coming on, and you know, you pay your money and it's 6-8 weeks away, you don't hear anything until the week before the event, and it's like, oh, people better hurry up and pay, and I'm like, oh Jesus, what have I committed to here?
Yeah, exactly. They're the worst.
But yeah, so look, we've all been to dodgy tournaments, and I think dodgy tournaments can generally be, you know, I'm not saying you blame someone, but I think the TO not being
Present.
Johnny on the spot throughout the whole process can be a thing around that. So, and I think we're lucky. We're spoiled for good tournaments here in Southeast Queensland. Now that it's a good scene, but you want to make sure that that sort of the standard we've come to expect almost doesn't slip a little bit. So I don't know. When we run Power Stance Con later in the year, boys, I think we need to make sure that we are walking the walk on all this talk that we're talking.
I'll set the terrain up. I don't mind.
You'll set the terrain up.
That's something I used to like.
Greg
I
can
used to
print
love
the
setting up
certificates.
boards.
Yeah, certificates. That's right.
Yeah.
That's my job.
Yep, I used to love it.
All right, Greg,
Oh, okay. To me now.
to you. What do you got?
Right. So, look, there's no surprise here. I'm Irish, so you might have guessed. Also an Australian.
He wants cups of tea.
Also,
Cups of tea. Yeah.
also British.
Black tea.
Just want to throw it out there. So, it still sticks in my mind. The first tournament we just spoke about, and a couple of Q&K ones, CanCon, was the best element.
Oh, it's the after party.
It's the beers. It's
Yeah.
the social side.
It's the social side.
You know,
Yep.
so if you want a top tournament, you heard it here first from me. You need to have that social engagement or social aspect to it, because it was, how much fun did we have? You mentioned it, Mango Tavern.
Mango Hill.
And
Yeah.
I remember
how long did that freaking
Pizzas.
food take?
Oh
Yeah.
my goodness. Yes.
Yep.
definitely, and like I said, just constantly you look back at your favorite tournaments, and what sticks in your mind. Does it stick in your mind rolling up and critical hits, the amount of critical hits you scored an opponent, or
Nah,
the big
no.
win you got, the 20
I don't think he's
niller?
done any of that anyway.
What's a win?
Yeah. or does the social side stick in your head more? I'll tell you.
Mine's the social side every time.
Yeah, definitely.
Every time we have a laugh about even on this cast, the Burwoods. There you go.
Birds.
I couldn't tell you one game I played.
Yeah.
It was all the RSL.
Yeah.
Walking
Well-
around all night, getting our arms stuck in kebab shop
And-
doors.
And even
Good times. Falling over fences.
It was stairs. And
All
there
right,
was
stairs,
three of them,
whatever.
thank you.
I think there was a fence that you fell over.
Yeah, you did.
there was
And maybe a
lots of
bush.
stuff.
Definitely a bush. Probably two bushes.
He landed in a bush.
At least I found some bush that night.
Ooh.
And that I mentioned it previously, the RSL, because remember we just randomly said it wasn't a planned thing. We just said, we're going to go out tonight for a few beers after the Q&K Premier event,
Yep.
and we got like 12, 10 at least, I think, and then they had that glam rock band, remember, upstairs,
Yeah.
kicking off the tribute band.
That's right.
And we had Jared's.
Oh, yes.
Do you remember we had Jared's dad join us, and we were like trying to get him to stay out on the beers, and he's like, I don't think
Yeah.
my wife would be too happy with me.
That's the night we went across the road to the
Sports
Irish.
Oh, the Irish bar, yeah.
That wasn't even Irish.
No, it wasn't. And then we went to the sports club, and then Aaron didn't get in, and then Aaron ended up over.
Oh,
Anybody who
Bribey.
Yeah, anybody who knows their Southeast Queensland geography. So we're in Caboolture right now, and our hotel was only, I don't know, 5-10 minutes from this particular nightclub or pub, whatever. And one of the guys, Aaron, big shout out to Aaron over in Toowoomba, he managed to get lost, picked up by the police, who then took him to Bribie Island and dropped him off there because they thought that's where his hotel was. Yeah. So probably a good 30-minute drive, I'd say, Caboolture to Bribie.
And it was literally 2 minutes away.
It was literally 2 minutes around the corner.
Yeah.
So then he didn't have any money. So then he had to use his card in a McDonald's to buy something to get change, I think, from memory. This is all a bit hazy. To then phone up a taxi to take him back to the hotel.
After the police have just driven.
Yeah. This is now 6 in the morning or 7 in the morning. He's just had a Big Mac. And his flatmate was getting up to go to the tournament when he walked through the door. So he literally went to the tournament and with no sleep, and played for top spot.
Yeah, played Hague for top spot on the final day.
Wasn't he?
Yeah, it was. Yeah. That was a stellar effort. Now those sort of stories you can't get anywhere else. They're classics.
That's it. Yeah.
I can't remember any games really.
Yeah.
I tend to
real specifics.
Repress them. Push them down where I can't get them, where they can't get me.
Or there was that other tournament where we went to the Eaton's Hill Tavern for a quiet, in inverted commas, couple of beers and pizza, and we stood at the bar after one beer and went, should we hit the town? Should we go into the valley? And I was like, yep.
That was night.
So we ended up driving from Eaton's Hill Hotel into the valley, and whilst we're driving in, JT was on the phone trying to get us a cheap hotel.
Yeah.
And then we larged up, and then it was a
that was not supposed to happen.
The Sunday was a bit of a tough one to get through.
It was.
At least it wasn't the second day of the tournament.
That's true.
That was only 1 day tournament.
Yeah.
There you go. Shout out stuff 1 day tournaments.
Yeah. There's nothing worse than sitting there on that Sunday and your head's buzzing, you're bleary eyed, you've got that bloody sandy tongue, dusty, feeling.
Cotton mouth.
Yeah. And you're there, and your opponent's fresh as a daisy. The fellow geek you're facing that day is fresh as a daisy, and you're like, you can barely string a sentence together.
CanCon.
Yeah.
Here's
every
your 20.
CanCon.
Here's your 20. I'm going to the tuck shop to get some food.
And you probably stink. There's pure alcohol coming out of your pores. You're a bit shaky because you haven't eaten at all, because you couldn't eat because you're too hungover.
No, see, my problem is, and I was thinking about this the other day, round 1 for me is usually good. I start fine because I'm not feeling hungover yet. Hangovers don't sort of get me until about 10 o'clock. So I'm an hour into round 1, and that's when I hit
you like a wall.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Apart from that time at Burwood where I had a kip. But that was because the tournament was running late.
Yeah, that was a Sunday morning.
Yeah.
They were big events too, weren't they?
That was 80 players.
60 plus, yeah.
Yeah, that was 80 back in Uke Bowl days. Yeah.
They were well-run events, usually.
Yeah, they were very well run.
Yeah. If I'm going back to switched-on TOs.
Big shout to Mango for Run Blood Bowl here in
Did you read
Southeast
that
corner. Huh?
Yes, couldn't put it down.
What's that?
Did you read that book?
What book?
The Blood Bowl novel we all chipped in $1.80 to buy shares in.
I got about 3 pages into it and just, couldn't do it.
That's about as far as I've got into any Black Library book, though.
Oh, hang on, there was 2.
And that wasn't a Black Library book.
Yes, that's the one you're talking about. That guy, the one that...
I read those Blood Bowl novels.
The Blood Bowl novels were okay.
They're okay.
They're alright.
They were pants.
They were
okay.
I'm
They're
sorry.
not, it's not a hard read.
No.
Just a bit of fun.
Yeah. Fun. It was fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bit of light entertainment.
So and anything you want to add about the social side of the
not without
hobby?
I risk of
agree.
incriminating myself.
We've
Yeah.
got to be very
agree,
careful what we say.
100%.
Yeah.
I think definitely that's got to be a big part of Power Stance Con when that happens.
Oh yeah.
I think that's got to be up there. Muddy's shaking his head. He's dreading the hangover already.
No, I'm just trying to picture Power Stance Con.
Because we're all trying to picture it.
I just had Jaeger shots. That's all I could think of.
Oh yeah.
All right, so we might leave it there. But before we go, what I want to do is I want to just do a little shoot around now. Muddy, Muddi suggested that soft scores were the key to one thing every tournament needs. Would you not attend a tournament if you knew that was not a priority, or would you go? Would you have some reservations, or would you say?
It depends on the game system.
Okay.
I think some game systems I would definitely not go to if it didn't have those elements, because I think they're a system that, and I won't talk about the systems, but they're a little bit more cutthroat.
Yep.
And I don't want to go to cutthroat events. I'm past that. I've had my list shaming, and I've moved on from that, apparently. So no, yeah, I would, but then again, I probably wouldn't go to those events anyway, or those systems anyway.
Yeah, fair enough.
It's more, those systems are probably more a garage game for me.
Yep. Greg, would the prospect of not having a social element to a tournament ever put you off from going, or?
I don't think it would ever put me off going, but I think it certainly is a massive plus. And it also helps the fact that generally the people I go to tournaments with always like a beer afterwards.
Guilty. Yep.
Yep. And, one thing I would add, CanCon this year, I did go down with Sloppy Slop Slayer was there, and Slopstar. And old Davy Boy as well. He was DT. Was down there. But in saying that, you guys weren't there. But we did manage to get some of the CanCon guys out. So it was great. So big shout out to Eddie, Josh, and Dean. So we had a big night out on the Terps.
And for me personally, look, if a TO is not actively pushing the event, or I'm a bit concerned about it probably wouldn't stop me from going. I'd have some reservations though. And if I hadn't paid my dollars, I'd still be umming and ahhing about it. But, I think in the end, if you're worried about a TO or you think that they're not on the game, then you've got to be there and support them. We're a community. We've got to look out for one another. So I guess that's what I'm coming back to.
So you're talking about list shaming?
List shaming? Let's not start down that track again. I got all sad after that episode.
Oh.
Alright, so we might leave it there. Thanks, fellas.
Thank you, Jacob.
Oh, no. Thank you.
Thank you, David.
No. Thank you. Thanks for that awesome win too, bro.
Alrighty. What you can do if you want to get involved in the conversation, you want to comment on anything we've spoken about tonight, and I'm sure you do. It's been fascinating. Get on our social media, Facebook. You can tweet Muddi at Power Stance Gaming.
Hashtag Muddies.
Hashtag Muddi. Download the Podbean app. You can stream our episodes live from there. Subscribe to us, please, on iTunes. Write us reviews. The reviews you write, they help us find new listeners, and they support us, get us up the rankings a little bit. So that's what we want to see. And subscribe if you haven't already. All right, that's the big thing there. And basically, if there's anything you want us to chat about, let us know. Whip around topics, main topics, games you want us to review. What are we reviewing next week? What game?
Malifaux.
Alright, be interested to see what Muddi has to...
destroyed Gregstar in Malifaux.
Only for the sake of the review, Muddi.
We wanted him to be positive.
Exactly
Thanks,
right.
buddy.
Yeah.
Alright, we'll leave it there.
Thanks, listeners.
Thanks,
Cheers.
Sims. See ya.
Guys.
Thank you for listening to Power Stance Gamers, the #1 place for tabletop banter. You know you love us. See you soon.
It's Eternal and Mixwell on the track once again, killing it. T-Dot to Munchie, we all connection, funk resurrection. Ha! Yeah. Once again. That Canadian flavor.
Power Stance Gamers, leave a message after the beep. Leonidas here, king of Sparta and favored son of Heracles. Nothing gets me as thrilled as thrusting my spear into Persian flesh while listening to Power Stance Gamers, the only podcast that carries its shield home or lies upon it.